What's up, guys? D-Rock 1992 here. For this next video, and for my next actor in the About series, I'm going to be talking about probably one of the more underrated actors and even directors. Well, more underrated as an actor. This guy has proved a lot of people wrong for years now. And the guy I'm talking about is Ben Affleck. This guy, as you know, Ben Affleck is going to be the new Batman in 2016. I hope that he does a really good job in this. I'll talk more about that later, and a couple other things later. But the big thing about Ben Affleck is that he hit it big with a particular movie I'm going to be talking about. And then he couldn't really quite build on his success from that movie. Couldn't quite build on that for a while. But now lately he's a good actor. He's had some good performances, period. And it's been good to see from him. He's a pretty good actor. I think I've only watched like one movie of his, but I know enough about him, and I know about the trajectory of his career where I can really talk about him. But without further ado, I'm going to talk about him now. There were a couple. In 1981, he plays a kid in the street in a movie called The Dark End of the Street. This was kind of a child acting role for him. He kind of had a couple child acting roles, a couple TV roles early on. But one of his first movies, one of his first ones was a movie called School Ties. Probably his official debut. It has Brendan Fraser, Matt Damon, who I'll talk about in the near future. Matt Damon's an important name, too, because Matt Damon and Ben Affleck have collaborated on a few movies together. And that big movie that I was talking about, they both screenwrote the movie together. And probably know what I'm talking about now, but I'll talk about it myself afterwards. But in 1993, Affleck stars in the cult hit Dazed and Confused, which is a good teenager movie, one of the more classic coming-of-age films, teenager films. There's a lot of stars in this. Matthew McConaughey, a lot of stars that became popular. Matthew McConaughey, Mila Jovovich, let's see here. And just Renee Zellweger was in this movie. It's just, this movie put a lot of people, kind of got a lot of people, including Affleck. Dazed and Confused kind of put him out there a little bit, maybe. A couple other films that are memorable are, he starred in quite a bit of Kevin Smith films. If you're not sure of who Kevin Smith is, think of Jay and Silent Bob. Those are characters that Kevin Smith and the other guy produced. The other guy that I'm trying to think about, Jason Mewes. This is one of those. This is one of those movies in the Kevin Smith directed era, kind of. Ben Affleck had a lot of roles in Kevin Smith films, including Mallrats. Let me see here. Chasing Amy, I think, is one of them. Yes. It is. And Dogma, I think, in 1999. But the movie that really established Ben Affleck, that really got him noticed by a lot of people, He did this movie with Matt Damon. He wrote the movie with Matt Damon, Good Will Hunting, in 1997. This also has Robin Williams, Minnie Driver in this film. This is about... Affleck plays the friend of Matt Damon's character in this movie. When I talk about Matt Damon, I'm going to talk about the movie more. But Affleck wins an Academy Award for this for Best Original Screenplay. He wins it with Matt Damon because they both wrote the movie together. They both screenplayed the movie. I mean, and Good Will Hunting's a big success. It's probably one of the better movies of all time. And Ben Affleck's always going to be remembered for that. After that, though, he doesn't quite establish himself yet in movies. I mean, he does Shakespeare in Love in 1998. This is a movie that's kind of about William Shakespeare in particular. Kind of about him trying to write one of his plays. Affleck plays a supporting role in the movie. He plays in the popular movie Armageddon in 1998. 1999, like I said, he stars in the Kevin Smith movie Dogma with Matt Damon as well. In 2000, he plays Rudy Duncan in Reindeer Games, which was a pretty decent movie when I watched it, and I also reviewed it. It was a pretty good movie. Not the best movie ever, but critics didn't think so. Critics didn't really like the movie, but definitely, Reindeer Games was in 2000. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back came out in 2001. He played a couple characters. He played himself and another character in this movie. When I started watching Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, I really didn't like it. I haven't watched the whole thing though. But also in 2000, he comes out with Pearl Harbor. This is kind of a romantic comedy type take on the Pearl Harbor incident of 1941, which got the United States involved in World War II. Alec Baldwin also plays in the movie, and Kate Beckinsale, I believe, is also in the movie. Josh Hartnett, Cuba Gooding Jr., John Voight. Pearl Harbor is film directed by Michael Bay. I don't think it was as critically received as other Ben Affleck movies, but 2002, Ben Affleck comes out with The Sum of All Fears. And this is significant. He stars in this movie with Morgan Freeman. But this one's significant because he plays the iconic movie character Jack Ryan. Harrison Ford, Alec Baldwin played the first Jack Ryan interpretation. You know, he played in the first Jack Ryan movie. Harrison Ford played in the second and third. Ben Affleck plays in the fourth. I don't think a lot of people expected Ben Affleck to be an action star in particular. I mean, he's not really an action star in this movie. It's a political thriller film as well. He's part of the United States government, for sure. And The Sum of All Fears, I mean, 59%, which is not terrible. But, I mean, it's not one of the more memorable Jack Ryan films. I think a lot of the film producers and all that, they probably thought this was going to make Ben Affleck a star. It didn't quite do that. 2003, he enters the superhero realm for the first time. He appears in Daredevil. Daredevil is a Marvel comic book hero. I had never heard of this guy before, but Ben Affleck plays him. And it's definitely, I mean, it definitely, you wouldn't expect a guy like Ben Affleck to play in this film. But, I mean, from what I kind of hear of this movie, he did a pretty good job in it. You know, he did a pretty good job. It got 45% on Rotten Tomatoes, and at the box office, it did well. So definitely, it maybe kind of opened some more eyes to Ben Affleck, the movie Daredevil. 2003, though, also was a bad year. If I'm pronouncing the name right here, I hope I am. Jiggly, I think is the correct pronunciation. Geely is the correct pronunciation. This is a romantic comedy film, and it also stars Jennifer Lopez, Al Pacino, Christopher Walken, Justin Bartha. This movie right here was very, very hyped because at the time Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck were in a romantic relationship. Were in a relationship. They were romantically involved. Needless to say, this movie is considered one of the worst movies of all time. And this movie could have really made Ben Affleck, it really could have destroyed Ben Affleck's career. It didn't, but this movie very well could have. I mean, 6% on Rotten Tomatoes. It just was not critically well received. Box office wise, bombed. Didn't bomb as much as the movie I mentioned in the Eddie Murphy's The Adventures of Pluto Nash, but still, I mean, Geely just is one of those worst ones. One of the worst movies of all time. Ben Affleck happened to play a starring role in the movie. But moving on from the badness of Geely, he was in a couple of movies, he was in a few movies just trying to find his way probably after that atrocity of a movie. I've never watched it before, so I don't know, but I've heard it's really bad. But anyway, 2009, he appears in a romantic comedy ensemble cast. He's Just Not That Into You. A romantic comedy drama film. This is one I have watched before, and it's pretty good. It has a huge cast. Jennifer Aniston, Drew Barrymore, Bradley Cooper, Scarlett Johansson, Justin Long, and more. I mean, this is the definition of an ensemble film. In 2010, he comes out with, he directs and is the main star. He stars, co-writes, and directs the movie The Town. And this movie is very popular as well. It's a popular film. I don't think a lot of people expected Ben Affleck to be a really good director, but this is really the start of his great directing ability. The ability to go behind the camera and really make a good movie. And Ben Affleck did it with The Town. It's a crime drama film. I've watched parts of it before. I would like to see it, though. The whole thing in its entirety. But this is a significant film. It's not the first movie he directed, but this is one where a lot of people recognized his chops. But his breakthrough came a couple of years later in the political thriller film Argo. He directs, stars in the film as well, and he plays. This is kind of a historical film because it goes back to the time of the Iran hostage crisis. in Argo, I think they try to make a movie, make a fake movie or something like that to get the Iraqi people, to get the American hostages out of Iran. And this one is very significant. And I think it got him an Academy Award for it. Argo got the Academy Award for Best Picture. And it really was a breakout role for Ben Affleck, for sure. Good Will Hunting put Ben Affleck on the map, but Argo really established him. I mean, he's had a long Hollywood career. I'll talk about that after, though. But 2013, he came out with Runner Runner. He stars in this movie with Justin Timberlake. This is about gambling, I believe. The world of gambling. And in 2014, actually next week, I believe, he's going to come out with a movie called Gone Girl. And Gone Girl is based on a novel that was written a few years ago in 2012. It has Ben Affleck, Neil Patrick Harris, Tyler Perry, Rosamund Pike. It's a mystery thriller, and should be pretty good. I mean, Ben Affleck's really established himself of late as a good actor, and he's going to be in the, check it out, October 3rd. So it actually is coming out in a couple of days. But the movie that everybody is hyped for is in 2016. It is the new Batman movie. It's officially called Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. When a lot of people heard that Ben Affleck was going to be Batman, I think a lot of people were very disappointed. You just don't see Ben Affleck as that type of superhero. I mean, he is a type of superhero character. But Ben Affleck himself is a big fan of comic books. That's how he got into Daredevil. He's going to play Batman alongside Superman, who's going to be played by Henry Cavill, who portrayed Superman in Man of Steel, that was came out last year. But Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. This movie is very hyped. I definitely hope that Ben Affleck can really do a good job in this movie. I mean, he proved a lot of people wrong in Daredevil. He probably proved a lot of people wrong in The Town. He directed that movie, and he proved a lot of people wrong. Maybe said he couldn't be a director. The guy, throughout his career, has always had doubters. And what I like about it is that he doesn't hide, and he doesn't hide from all the negativity surrounding his people's vision of him as a non-actor, as not a very good actor. He just continues to put his material out there. And now he's a top actor. After The Town, and especially after Argo, Ben Affleck is a very viable actor now. Definitely. It took him a while to really establish big success after Good Will Hunting, but he's back. He's now really established as a good actor. It hasn't been a lot of movies he's been in since The Town, but I mean, in the future, it's really going to open even more doors for Ben Affleck if he does really well in Batman vs. Superman. I really hope he does a great job in Batman, for sure. To continue the amazing history of the actors who played Batman. I definitely hope he knocks it out of the park. That's it for Ben Affleck's movie career in particular. It's worth it to talk a little bit about his television career. It hasn't been a lot. I mean, he hasn't had a lot of television experience because he hasn't really had to, per se. But the big thing that I'm going to mention in this, well, he had his own TV series. This was before Good Will Hunting. It only lasted 8 episodes. It was called Against the Grain. He was a co-star in this TV show. And the only other thing I'm going to mention is that he's hosted Saturday Night Live 4 times. 2000, 2004, 2008, and 2013, which was the last episode for Bill Hader. Famous Saturday Night Live performer Bill Hader. But that's really it when you look at... He hasn't had to have a long... I mean, he's been hired in Hollywood. He's been in a lot of movies since his debut. For sure. And as a director, he's directed The Town, Argo. Gone Baby Gone was his first big directorial debut, his feature-length directorial debut. And that movie was very successful too, so that might have even been his big time debut into directing. But Argo really established him, for sure. He's going to come out with a directorial in 2016. He is going to direct the movie Live by Night. Actually, he's going to star in the movie as well. That's one thing with Ben Affleck. He stars in some movies. He directs some movies. So this is a film adaptation of the book Live by Night. So look for that in 2016. October 7th, 2016. So that's it for Ben Affleck and his movie and television career. D-Rock 1992 out.